frustration, rage, fear, all emotions we've experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Now, Republican lawmakers have called for a special session to address what they call misdirected and mandated responses to the virus. We are experiencing a surge in cases as friction over politics, religious beliefs, and science reach a boiling point in the volunteer state. 961 Nashvillians have lost their lives to the virus. Just 3 of those victims were vaccinated. Tonight, you'll see the latest COVID surge through the eyes of a young nurse who just finished her first year on the front lines.
Kathryn Sherman hopes that by speaking out, it will convince more people to get vaccinated. She spoke exclusively with News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, we've tried to introduce you to the faces behind the numbers. The face in this case is a young nurse who joined the profession hoping to save lives, never imagining she would lose so many so needlessly.
I don't want anybody to end up suffering the way that my patients have suffered. I have resigned myself to the fact that for many people, that is how they're going to learn.
One day in July of last year, Kathryn Sherman became a nurse. The next day, she was assigned to her hospital's intensive care unit, coming face to face every shift with a pandemic killer.
In the past year, new nurses did not get to be new nurses. We were charge nurse, like 2 and 3 months off orientation, if that. We were having to take care of entire units in addition to our own patient load because there simply wasn't the staff.
Her tweet went viral, showing the idealistic nursing student and the exhausted nurse whose face bore the marks of protective equipment designed to try to keep her safe.
What's the difference emotionally between those 2 young women?
The one on the right saw a lot more people die. A lot of death, a lot of suffering that I knew I would see to some extent, but I didn't think it was going to be that much that fast.
Having been a nurse just over a year now, how many people have you seen die from COVID?
Too many to count.
For Kathryn and her fellow nurses, this wave with the Delta variant once again filling ICUs is tragically different.
The first time, we all kind of banded together and there was that adrenaline fight or flight response that all healthcare workers had, and now we don't have that anymore.
Because you're so exhausted?
We're exhausted and we're frustrated, and we wish that people would just listen to us.
Unlike earlier in the pandemic, the people she sees dying now are those who simply made the decision not to get the vaccine.
I'm really, really angry all the time.
Because
people are dying who don't need to die. I am so tired of the people who are creating their own reality where COVID is not a problem, and then they have the audacity to get mad at people like me when we try and show them that, no, this is real.
That frustration showed through in a video diary she recorded for us at the end of a recent shift. That young nursing student's idealism has now been shattered by the horrors of this virus.
I am talking about the people who survived COVID, and now they're going to be dependent on oxygen the rest of their life. The people who survived COVID, and now they're going to live in a nursing facility for the rest of their life because of COVID, they had an anoxic brain injury. And now they are so brain damaged that they cannot care for themselves. I got used to the death. I walled it off, pushed it down, and did my job.
In a recent Twitter thread, Kathryn described how the initial COVID waves eventually subsided, allowing her to see the ICU as a place where death was not always standing watch.
The things that I did mattered. My actions actually saved lives. No longer was death my constant, silent companion.
But now death has returned, thanks to those who once denied the reality Kathryn knows all too well.
You learn the hard way and I see it through. I carry the weight of your choices and the pain that they cause. It didn't have to be like this.
It didn't have to be like this. Kathryn hopes that if you haven't been vaccinated, you'll make plans right now to go get the shot that has now been proven to save lives, so that you don't end up being one of her many patients.